hot fire. And we're not going to be bouncing back and forth. We're just staying on the past performances. We're going to get her done. This might be part two of your video. So, welcome to part two. And this one is going to be the two biggies, the UN and the Haskell. And we are going to finalize the betting card with a 50-cent pick four at the end. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You're smashing that like button, most appreciated. Uh, Thank you for all the support, truly. Let's continue. Race number 11 is the United Nations. That is going to be a mile and 3/16 or mile and 3/8. I'm sorry. That's 9.5 furlongs on the turf. Grade 2, $600,000 purse, 3-year-olds and up. So, three-turn route. I never really pay much attention to three-turn races. A lot of times, I guess that I see them. I probably see them way more than I normally used to. But I just realized that when I looked at it, I said, "Well, yeah, it is three turns. You have to go around the two turns and then finish with the third." So I don't know that makes any difference to people, because it may just, like I said, maybe I just don't pay that much attention to the routes when they're, because most of the time they are a mile and a quarter. Like Churchill is still a two turn, and so it would still be a two turn at Churchill for me. But since it's on the turf, it's going to be a little bit different. So anyway, we need to get into this. Outside post should be fine. I think the track bias pretty even across the board. If you want to look at that real quick, we can. But you got 54 races, 22% early pressing, 35. You still got 18 and 25 on the closers. So that's why I'm good with that, even across. Grand Sonata, Todd Pletcher. I think I'm going to fade Todd Pletcher on the turf throughout this one. Not completely, because I do think he's got some contenders. But I think the first two are out for me. Those are both Pletchers. Irad, I get it. Emmanuel, solid. But the speed's just not there for me on either one of these two. So I'm going to go Get Smoking. I thought I had a little bit of interest in. I thought the 104 and the 106, big time races. And then the all weather just wore out. That was, of course, last year. But this year, I think the all weather, I'm going to need to see it again. So I'm probably going to pass on Get Smoking. Adamo is another one. Frankie Dettori, if he can't get this horse across the winner's circle, I don't know who can, because it looks like Flavian Pratt's the only one that ever done it. And he did it at this race last year. So I'm going to fade the repeat winner, just like I said, and fade the one who hasn't won since that race last year and really been getting killed 10th, 8th, 7th. So, I just you got to draw a line in the sand, right? This one, Fort Washington, like I said, at 35-1, I don't see a repeat of that huge effort. I think he's more in the low 90s. I don't think the 98 is going to be there in back-to-back efforts. If it is, so be it. I'll eat it. I'll take the L. Running B, I would have more interest, even though they dead heated together. I just think that Chaminade, Chad Brown, obviously, I would definitely consider this one more, but it was like the first out, I guess, if you want to talk NCAA bracketology, it was the first out. Data Man is one I'm going to use as a live long shot underneath. Back-to-back wins in minor stakes races, but that Henry Clark was pretty impressive. He ran down English B, who's pretty formidable in this race too. So Data Man is going to be, I'd say, double digits. Got to be 12 to 15-1. So going to be nice and juicy for the underneath exotics. Going to pass on So High. Tawny Port. This is the one. Christopher Clement, Flavian Pratt. I know he's had a couple of different jockeys along the way, but Pratt has ridden him before. But I don't care about 64 lengths defeat in the Ben Ali. That was just eased. The horse was eased. That's way back in the day. This horse has run really consistent numbers over the last several in graded 2 and grade 3 Monmouth just last June 15th. third by just a neck. Thought he had it won, but this other one was third by a neck too. Uh, and it's just so close. This horse has been battling to win a race. And I do think that he is going to win. I don't know if it's going to be this one, but one soon. He's going to win a route turf race graded. I'd say at least a grade 3, if not a grade 2 or better. I think this horse is good enough to do it. So Tawny Port's on the list. Web Slinger, obviously, on the list. Second in prime power. The closer just gets it done. Third places and second places. One last out in the Curlywood, but I think it was struggling a little bit. I mentioned it in the previous video. Nothing but grade 1 and grade 2 for most of the career here. But then I think maybe got on the got into a little bit of a slump here at the first of the year in the spring. Third in the Turf Classic, I didn't think was too bad, but they dropped him in class. I think just to get this under his belt, and just did rally for the win there. So going to be closing. Starting over is another one that I have mild interest in, and as far as like a live long shot. You see the 92 it ran in a grade 2. Uh, that was a solid effort right there. Won by a neck over Tawnyport. And then second, just short. And the gray horse with the white face, I like that. I like those kind of horses. But I mean, shows some good form back in September of 23. And now I think maybe if it moves forward in the third start of the 24, could factor. So if you were spreading, like you wanted to spend $100 on that pick 5 ticket, I would definitely include this horse. Me, I'm going to try to keep my ticket under $50. So we'll go on to Farbridge, who's definitely going to be in that mix. It's probably my top selection. I like it the best. Definite closer, but gets it done. Really strong effort in the Manhattan under measured time and Nation's Pride. I spoke on that. Web Slinger, Program Trading, Naval Power. All those are just top notch competition. So has not won a grade 1 or a big stakes race since last July, but Farbridge is a good horse. Christopher Clement, 38%. He's off to a whopping start in the meet so far. Jose Ortiz, I always like. So Farbridge is going to be the one that I like. So there was 2 different ways I was going to go about this. Race number 11, I was going to say 9, 10, 12 is what I'm going to put on my ticket. That's the 3 horses that I'll go with. Then if you want to spread, I like 7, then 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is a 5-way spread for race 11. So that's going to move your ticket up exponentially. And always you can just Google it. Just go Google horse racing calculator, and then you can take whatever one comes up, and you can plug these in, and that way you'll know ahead of time how much it's going to cost you to place a certain bet. That's always helpful when I do these pick 4s, and I do trifectas where I'm wheeling, so part wheeling, things of that nature. So Farbridge, I see a 99 at least coming out of this, if not another triple digit. I think that's your winner, to be honest with you. So underneath, if you were playing, like I said, the 7, the 9, the 10, and the 11 would be underneath in exactas and trifectas. I would probably put 9, 10, 12 like in the top row, and then over like, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12 over 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it would be a 3, 3, 5 trifecta part wheel. Now, let's move on to La Grande Finale, and that's going to be the Haskell. Okay, this is your Breeders' Cup Challenge. Win and you are in. $1 million purse for the Grade 1 Haskell Stakes. Kicks off the first major stakes event of the summer. And of course, we start with Dornoch or Dornick, depending on which part of the ocean you're across from. 106 Brisnet number in the Belmont. The front end, we all remember it. Luis Saez got this horse out fast and pretty much ran along with Seize the Gray, then put Seize the Gray away down the stretch, and was on fire down the stretch and was able to hold off Mindframe. So that one's definitely worth looking into because I'd say there's potential to wire. If we look down here at bias, 67 races, only 10% in the wire to wire category. So that's promising. And it is fairly evenly spread. I like the early pressers more than anything else in this race. And I'll tell you why here in a second. But Dornick, I'm probably going to pronounce it both ways. I'll call it Dornoch and I'll call it Dornick. So that one's definitely in there. Jasper's Pride is a toss. Tuscan Sky, the Todd Pletcher, Javier Castellano aboard. This one is probably going to be the best value of the four that I mentioned as my top four choices. It's fifth in prime power. This 100 just run away by 6. And I know Domestic Product and Hades were not the best of the competition, but he put them away with authority in the stretch on this racetrack that we're racing on. And we're just going an additional half a length. So if Tuscan Sky is improving like he's looking at, and if you really throw out this Wood Memorial, this horse is improving with every race. So if he's got another jump in him, look out. Timberlake. This was the interesting one. Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt was wondering if this one was going to come back, and he has. But when I looked back, where was he looking really the best at? Obviously, the Champagne way back in October was the big 102 by 4 lengths. But General Partner, Dancing Groom, I think. I forgot the name of the horse there. Now, he did run 4th in the BC Juvenile, which was tough enough, but lost by 8. That was Fierceness, Muth, locked, facing Fierceness here. But look, the race he won in the Grade 2 Rebel beat Common Defense, Northern Flame. Just those horses never come to fruition. Just Steel was back down there, who's injured and off the 3-year-old trail. So I'm going to toss Timberlake. This is one that's going to be a decision maker. If it's the morning line favorite and it's not 2-1 or better, I won't back him. But I think that this one's ready to fire. And I do think that it could go out on front and pull a Florida Derby if it can run some reasonable. And it doesn't even have to run -11, -13 reasonable. But 47 for the half mile and then 111 for 3/4. I think he gets it done running that kind of a race. As long as it's not 46 or sub 47 for the half, I think he'll be fine. I can see him running another close to 190, high 90s in this race. So definitely Fierceness. Then you got Just Step on It. That's a toss. I remember making the joke about the lack of speed. I think it was before this OC race, this race at Parks, because he did listen to me, went out and won, stepped on it and got a 91. So these other speed figures, you were really wanting him to step on it. You know what I'm saying? But still a toss. Florin Giroux, I don't like so much. Not bad, but not one of the top jocks. Louis Linder, not what I'm looking for in this race. Here's the one that I think, obviously 9-5. Is it going to be the post-time favorite? I don't know. It's recency biased. If he hadn't have drifted out into the middle of the track, he would have beat Dornick. Maybe, but I don't know that for sure. But he did run the race that I like for the horse to win this race. I like, just like Go Rocket Ride ran in the 2023 Haskell. He sat off Arabian Night in 3rd and then took over down the stretch. And it was a pretty reasonable pace It wasn't fast and it wasn't slow either. So I think if Mindframe can track a similar pace to that, I think he can rock and roll here. I don't think that they should go take him out to the lead. If they do that, then I don't think he wins the race. I think if he rates and does what he did in the Belmont, and then just hit it hard down the stretch, definitely chance to win. C Streak as a toss, and that is your field for the Haskell. So So it was a pretty tough call as far as like picking a winner in this race because I liked Dornoch and I liked Fierceness both on the Derby trail. I kind of liked Fierceness to win the Kentucky Derby if you had me to pick. I think I would have picked Dornoch had they not botched the Bluegrass Stakes. I lost faith in him. Then he drew the one post, so I knew he wasn't going to win the Derby. But I still thought Fierceness coming out wide would still get after it, but he failed down the stretch. I can see Tuscan Sky applying early pressure like he did in the Pegasus. So if Mindframe can sit back in third or fourth, just off those first flight of horses of Dornoch, Fierceness, and Tuscan Sky, similar to how Go Rocket Ride rated last year, definitely watching the tote board because we don't know all four of these horses are probably going to take money. Tuscan Sky is going to be the best. If Tuscan Sky starts drifting toward double digits, that might be the value play, especially if you have like a money back special through one of your apps. So I'll be interested in that. I still think people back Fierceness. Dornoch should get money as being the most recent winner. Dornoch and Mindframe, probably going to be 1-2 in the odds because those are the most two recent. Those were the most two that looked impressive. People will still probably back Fierceness on his potential to dominate, but will they trust him? I've already heard people saying they don't really fully trust him. They'd like to back him, but they don't know. So I'm likely to back him. I'll have to decide race day. Mindframe, anything lower than his 9 to 5 or morning line odds, if he gets to even money or worse, I'd reconsider a bet there. Like I said, Tuscan Sky could get up there, but these are the four horses for leg 4, and that is 1, 3, 5, and 7. So the two tickets, and I didn't mention the spread in the previous race, the 5-horse spread. I don't really know what that cost of that would be, but I'd say it's probably going to be not 48, but more. If you add 2 more in this middle race, I can't do the math off the top of my head. My apologies. But like I said, you got the 5-8. Then if you go 3-8, 9, 10, 12, 1, 3, 5, 7 for leg 4, that's a $24 ticket. Or you single the 3 in leg 2, the 10th race, the Monmouth Cup. And then that's 5-8, then the 3 single, 9, 10, 12, 1, 3, 5, 7. That's a $12 ticket, much cheaper. So those, but you, like I said, you could toss in a few that I mentioned on my underneath plays to spread things out and to go for higher odds. I admit that this one's, especially the $12 ticket, a bit chalky. Either way, they're probably chalky. But if a couple of those horses in there win and keep the favorite off the board, possibly make a little money off of that. So anyway, stay tuned for more stakes action next week with the Jim Dandy Stakes. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, clicking that like button, leaving comments too. Comment on your best bet of the day or give me your winner in the Haskell. Anything you want to talk about, toss it out there. Best of luck this weekend. See you soon.